What happened?
Blackheart.
They got her.
Where's the contract? I can't end this without it. Just gonna have to do this whole damn place up myself.
It's not there, kid. Contract of San Miganza. Hell on earth.
You're gonna have to trust me.
And why is that?
He may have my soul, but he doesn't have my spirit.
Any man who's got the guts to sell his soul for love, he's got the power to change the world. You didn't do it for greed. You did it for the right reason. Maybe that puts God on your side. To them, that makes you dangerous. Makes you unpredictable. That's the best thing you can be right now. Something God's is 500 miles from here. You better get moving.
We?
I got one last ride left in me.
Carter Slade. Can you keep up? Let's ride.
Stick to the shadows. This is the end of the trail for me. I got nothing left. I could only change one more time, and I was saving it for this. God knows I've made my share of mistakes. Been trying to make things right ever since. Guess all I can do now is hope he sees fit to give me a second chance.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, kid.
Excelsior True Believers, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're looking at Midnight Suns. Must say, of all the potential teams that are coming to the MCU, I am most excited for this one. I think it's largely due to the fact that I love gothic horror, and then just making superheroes out of that. Perfect combination. The only reason I think that they would do this is to explore more horror / supernatural / mystic side of the MCU, which we have gotten a little bit of a peek at with Doctor Strange. We're going to get an even better peek at that with our little multiverse trilogy coming up. And I would love to see them explore the Elder Gods. Look at actually introducing the Vishanti into the MCU, or actually talk to the Living Tribunal as a character. Go to Hell and fight Mephisto, or maybe even help him bring Blackout and Blackheart back into Purgatory. We could potentially see Belasco. We could see Nightmare, Dormammu, all of these extra dimensional, supernatural, demonic entities, as well as this could be quite an interesting way, probably not a way most people would consider, to introduce Angela into the mix, since she is, technically speaking, like within the Marvel comics, she's Thor's sister. Her backstory is that she was in the 10th realm of the 9 realms, known as Heaven, spelled the same way, just without the A, and that she was actually Odin's daughter, and he had given her willingly in order to stop the battle between Asgard and Heaven, and then it sort of sealed that realm off from the rest of Yggdrasil so that no one else could access it, which is essentially what they did to Hela in Ragnarok, the movie. But that'd be an interesting way to introduce her, because her original comic was Spawn, and he's definitely an angel versus demons kind of guy. So that could be an interesting way that I don't think anyone would consider, and then that would help her be able to set up with like Beta Ray Bill and Amora the Enchantress, who we know we're getting in the Loki series, maybe a new Destroyer armor, making an Asgardians of the Galaxy could be kind of cool. Obviously, other than introducing her in a wow, was not expecting this kind of way, there are some other characters we could see. A lot of these have already in some capacity appeared in the MCU, whether that's simply just that Disney itself released it through the 20th Century Productions branding, now that they've just removed the word Fox from that branding, or because they had a show on Hulu, through their television department when that was still a thing, or that they've actually made or been confirmed to be making their official MCU debut. So the characters that I've looked at here, we would need some sort of a sorcerer. So Benedict Cumberbatch's Doctor Strange seems like the most logical sense. I did also say that he could be the representative on the Illuminati for the Midnight Suns, and he's the Sorcerer Supreme, so anything that would happen through that team or through the just widespread network of sorcerers on Earth, he would know about. And so I think that makes him the most logical character to be sort of the leader for this team. If not him, like if he has to sort of assign someone else to it, we could see Brother Voodoo. I've heard reports that he's going to be showing up in Multiverse of Madness. That'd be kind of cool. We do know his brother was the New York Sanctum's guardian before he was killed by Caecilius. So seeing him come in to help Doctor Strange would be kind of cool. He does bring with him a different brand of magic, which could be even more interesting. I mean, his name is Brother Voodoo. Of course, he has a different brand of magic, and that kind of magic could be interesting to see in a more horror-themed team. Otherwise, giving us a higher female count on this team, because it's the Midnight Suns, could also see it just, like they may end up, I don't know, Midnight Children, although that doesn't really have the same ring, and Midnight Suns is the property name. But anyway, Jennifer Kale has a history with the Darkhold, We have seen that in, I think it was Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. we saw it in. There's theories that the Darkhold could show up again sometime soon. I think WandaVision was one of the places that it could be seen. Otherwise, you know, Doctor Strange 2 would kind of make some sense. Maybe somewhere like Moon Knight or in Blade, or one of these other horror themed characters that we're getting, would be kind of cool. But Jennifer Kyle has a history with that book. She is a sorceress herself, despite being, I think she's only like 19 or something, so she's a younger character as well. But with that being said, she may end up just being the Doctor Strange affiliate for the Young Avengers, and that's cool too. 100% here for seeing that as well. Oscar Isaac as Mark Spector, Moon Knight, obviously giving us our Batman affiliate in this essentially Justice League Dark analog in the Marvel Universe. Doctor Strange is essentially our Zatanna. This is our Batman, and you can, when you look at this, one-to-one sort of do that. Like Ghost Rider is essentially Etrigan. Who else we got? Elsa Bloodstone is kind of, well, probably better off Hellstrom as our Constantine, but you get the idea. There's this sort of one-to-one analog with most of these teams throughout the comics. But yeah, no, Oscar Isaac as Mark Spector, Moon Knight, Mahershala Ali as Eric Brooks Blade, rumored Keanu Reeves as Johnny Blaze, Ghost Rider. Here for that. I know he owns a motorcycle company. Why not make him the hero that rides a motorcycle? That makes sense. John Bernthal as Frank Castle Punisher. There are reports that he's going to be reprising his role in the MCU, but like in the MCU proper, not in like the kind of associated, made by Marvel Television's and Netflix MCU, proper under Kevin Feige MCU. The stuff that we can actually consider as canon. So that'll be cool. Hellstrom or Zatanna. My money's more on Zatanna than on Hellstrom, purely for the higher female count on the team. But they are both the children of the devil, and yeah, and Zatanna seems like she'd be a more interesting character. We can take them from the Hulu show. I think that got 1, maybe 2 seasons, and then got cancelled. I think Runaways got cancelled after 3 seasons. I think Cloak and Dagger and Freeform got 2 seasons, and all of these shows have been shut down because Kevin Feige's bringing everything back under the one umbrella, put it all in the one bucket, so that we can put all the toys in the same room, so that we don't have to, you know, there's not as big of a cleanup when we finish playing with all of our toys. But yeah, it'd be really cool, and at the moment, those are the characters that, the Doctor Strange, Moon Knight, Blade, Ghost Rider, Punisher, Zatanna, those are characters we've already got in some way or another in the MCU. New ones that could be considered, Elsa Bloodstone is essentially an Abraham Van Helsing type character. She's a monster hunter. That could be really cool. We might get to see villains like Mr. Hyde. We could see Dracula. We could see, you know, like Creature of the Black Lagoon, a Frankenstein counterpart. Might get to see some mummies. We've got Moon Knight, so there's some Egyptology already in there. Essentially, you could just find the Marvel counterpart to a universal horror monster, like, you know, vampires or werewolves. There you go. That's your villain. Could be really cool. Man-Thing has been honestly teased in the MCU more than people realize. His base of operations is in the Everglades. That's where the military base in the Hulk was when they first recruited Blonsky. His wife is Ellen Brand. She showed up in Iron Man 3 with her face already scarred. That happens when Ted Sallis first turns into Man-Thing. She becomes fearful of him, and whenever he touches anything that feels fear, it burns at his touch. So she got her face burned. And that's why she was in the Extremis program in the MCU. So he already exists. Then in Ragnarok, his face is on the Grandmaster's tower, which means that he was at one point the Grandmaster's champion. He exists in the MCU. We just haven't seen him in action, and I would love to. I would love to. We could also see Werewolf by Night. I would hope that they come up with. I mean, Werewolf by Night is the name of the comics and stuff, but as far as superhero names concerned, something a bit more catchy like Lycan would be just as good. I mean, he suffers from lycanthropy. Calling him Lycan would be fine. If we wanted to put in a mutant present, an X-Men presence, Magic, obviously, because she can travel to Limbo, and that allows you to look at that realm, and at Belasco, maybe Mephisto's trying to expand his dominion of hell. He expands it up into Limbo, which is, in theology, Limbo is part of the afterlife and hell. So that could be the case. And then Sons have to sort of step in there and break up this infernal war happening in hell. And then if we want to have, and this is probably the character least likely to show up, however, would be cool to see her show up, Felicia Hardy, Black Cat, particularly if she has her bad luck powers. She's able to manipulate power so that others have bad luck. And on that note, another quick sidestep. I don't know if this has happened in the comics or not, but I would like to see it in the movies. Domino, who has the power to give herself good luck, versus Black Cat, who has the power to give her opponents bad luck. Their powers would cancel each other out, so it simply just becomes who's the better hand-to-hand combatant then. And I think that with both of them, if we show them sort of using their powers to great effect and basically coming to rely on that as like their ace in the hole, when they go to fight each other, they no longer have their aces in the hole, and that could be a visceral hand-to-hand battle, and I'd love to see that. Anyway, like I said, probably unlikely. Sony does still own the rights to that character. So at this point in time, she's unlikely to show up in this Midnight Suns thing, unless Marvel's able to sweet talk their way into getting full rights to her character specifically back. Now, this, like I said, would be a horror-themed group of mainly anti-heroes. Like, the Punisher kills people. Let's not mince words. He murders people. Blade, again, is one of those, like, is better as an R-rated character. Moon Knight's the same. Johnny Blaze, Ghost Rider, especially the fact that his backstory deals directly with the devil Mephisto, probably won't be allowed in China because of the depictions of the devil. Same with Hellstrom and Satana. These guys are anti-heroes, and seeing them team up to protect the world from supernatural and paranormal threats like Mephisto and the Elder Gods would be really cool. This is the place where we can explore Marvel's Lovecraftian back and sides sort of thing. It's hidden away in a corner somewhere. But seeing like Shuma Gorath come out and giving us basically this would just be Avengers meets Hellboy, and I'm talking like the Ron Perlman one where he ends up fighting like the 7 gods of chaos. That film mixed with the Avengers, where instead of Loki and his Chitauri army, it's Shumagorath and maybe he's borrowed Dormammu's Mindless Ones or something. It would be epic. Excuse me for 2 seconds. Alright. But yeah, I think that'd be interesting to see. How will this tie in? Well, with the Guardians of the Galaxy and Captain Marvel, potentially some other teams we don't know yet, exploring the cosmic side, and Ant-Man and the Fantastic Four looking at a scientific explanation of other dimensions. Like, this dimension is simply just the concept of time doesn't exist. Maybe this one has, you know, the concept of like mass or whatever doesn't exist, and everyone can phase through everything. You know, like there could be these sorts of things, and then looking at the villains that reside in those realms, like Annihilus and Kang the Conqueror, and then the other remaining like Avengers and street level heroes, looking at just like the world at large, like the physical world. These guys are all looking at science, right? Whether that's space exploration, whether it's quantum physics, or whether it's simply just the physical world and technology. They're all looking at science. This one would be our only one really that delves into subjects like theology and mysticism, and that therefore makes them a particularly interesting group of characters to look at in their own series, whether that be a team-up movie with Doctor Strange, Moon Knight, Blade, Punisher, Ghost Rider, etc., or whether that ends up being a Disney Plus show. Honestly, I don't know which one I prefer more. Obviously, a movie, you get the spectacle, more people go see it because it's more available to the public, I guess. You don't have to make an account to go to the cinema. But a Disney Plus show, especially if it gets a couple of seasons, you get more screen time with the characters, you get to develop those characters better, and you really get to sort of flesh out the overarching plots of villains more. Villains are always more compelling when they're in a series and you're actually able to basically spend a whole episode looking at their motivations and why they're doing what they're doing. But yeah, a team up after the Moon Knight series and the Blade film, potentially introducing Werewolf by Night, what with the whole classic vampires and werewolves going at each other, and Moon Knight essentially having boomerangs made of silver, which we all know is deadly to werewolves. Could see them being set, like setting up the team there. You could have a post-credits scene where Doctor Strange comes and he's like, hey, look, you guys need to stop fighting because there's something way worse than all of us combined coming, leading to potentially a Midnight Suns where they fight Shumagorath. That would be epic. I would love that. And then it would also see the Midnight Suns being one of those teams that ends up fighting in the Secret Wars Battle World storyline. That could happen at the end of this saga. That'd be really cool. Anyway, that's all I've got for this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the bell as well if you want to be notified when I upload new videos. And until next time, guys, keep your head screwed on.